Welcome to our second installment of this week's little creature feature. Obviously, we are going to be going over Creature Commandos. For anyone who might not know what Creature Commandos is, it is the first installment in James Gunn's new DC universe, and it is an animated show, which is a little unusual in the sense that most time you usually see live action movies or TV shows start off these type of things. But I think James Gunn's decision to include animations is going to be hugely beneficial for the DCU for a little bit of reasons I'll go into later. But let's head. There we go. My bad. Let's head right on into this. Still kind of getting used to controls on this. Obviously, I haven't used it in a while, but either way, meant to start off over here. But so in terms of Rotten Tomatoes, um, critics absolutely love it. Top critics, 100%. Perfect rating. All critics near perfect rating. Audience 80%, which IMDb gives it that 7.8%, about 80%, right? Okay, I'm sorry. I felt like I was gonna sneeze there, but um, either way, um, going into this, if you enjoyed a lot of James Gunn projects, you enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy, you enjoyed um, Peacemaker, Peacemaker, and Suicide Squad, right? You're gonna absolutely love this. It has that like adult humor to it that you don't really see a lot in terms of like mainstream superhero. Obviously, like we've been seeing a lot more of it as of late, but old DC, old Marvel wouldn't really touch this kind of humor, this kind of stuff. Of course, you had like some innuendos with like James Gunn and like Guardians of the Galaxy, but they were like obviously pushing it a lot more. And then once James Gunn got free control and access to like DC, he was able to push it way more. Obviously, with Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, now Creature Commandos, and I think their decision to start off with animated series, something that's similar to what they've already produced that has done really well, is fantastic because really since the 2000s, DC has kind of just dominated the superhero animation. Um, because like in the 90s, obviously, DC did have like the an animated series, Superman, and probably like some other animated series that I'm blanking on right now. But Marvel also did have its own fair share of really good animated series in the 90s as well, with like Spider-Man, X-Men, probably some other things I'm missing. But after that, like going into the 2000s with like Justice League Unlimited, and then of course the multitude of movies, animated movies that they had produced, and then leading up to the DC animated universe, which lasted from like 2010, 2012 until about like a few years ago when it ended with the Justice League Apocalypse War or whatever I think it was called. It was something like that. But you guys know which DC animated thing I'm talking about. If not, I'll throw like some picture of like the timeline up in front of this. But um, DC animation has always been really, really good, and James Gunn's decision to implement DC animation into the new DC universe, I think, is going to pay off wonderfully. And obviously, with this very big commercial success, critics absolutely love it, audiences absolutely love it. Very short at 7 episodes. Very good introductory for pretty much most of the character for like most of these characters here. Most of these characters we will be seeing, and I'll try and keep this portion as much spoiler free as possible. With obviously there being a little spoiler section at the end. Total. Um, I think I don't know. It's hard. I think I'll give it benefit of the doubt. Give it that 8. Right. I'll give it that 8. Again, if you love a lot of the other superhero James Gunn projects, you'll absolutely love this. Um, Voice acting phenomenal. Animation was really good, and everything about this was pretty good. I mean, plot generally wasn't like it wasn't kind of out there, but it was simple and it worked, which I think was just kind of the idea to introduce this main new group of characters. But yeah, that is my opinion on Creature Commandos, and we'll head into the spoiler section. What is up, guys? Welcome to the spoiler section of Creature Commandos. Now, obviously, with this one, we go in thinking that the this new task force, I forget what exactly they call this one, because this is obviously isn't Task Force X anymore. This is a new one where, because of the law that Congress made because her daughter exposing her from Peacemaker season, the end of Peacemaker season one, Amanda Waller is now using a loophole where instead of using imprisoned humans, because that's what they say they can't use, they're using inhumans or monsters, which is where you get this new Creature Commando squad. And very first mission seems a little unusual because they are um, obviously protecting someone instead of assassinating someone or killing someone, which is the main stories that you usually see with all of these. But then, of course, they always find a way to swap it around a little bit. But we get that unusual kind of protection mission, and of course, that ends up not happening after 2 episodes when Cersei reveals that the princess is actually the evil one, and then you have that whole situation with um the Amazonian expert and Cersei being able to predict the future, and so they go and do it, and then obviously, Rick Flag Senior thinks that's wrong because he fucking slept with the princess, so and have that whole side plot, right? And that wraps in the Frankenstein guy. Um, see, they have him listed here. Frankenstein. Okay. Oh fuck, they just call him Frankenstein. Okay, so I was correct. It is just Frankenstein. But yeah, right. So you have that whole subplot, and then now it goes from protecting to killing, and then um during that whole situation, obviously, um they try to kill him. Nina dies. Also at this point, GI Robot obviously got taken out during one of the fights, but he was happy that he got to kill a bunch of, um, they. He was like, "Oh, are these whatever?" Or I was like, "Oh, are these Yahtzees?" And Rick like, or yeah, Rick like, "Yes, they're Yahtzees." And he goes and he plays Yahtzee, right? um, I don't know if I mean I'm not even fucking monetized, so I could probably just say the word outright and don't give a fuck about demonetization, but whatever. I mean, I can't be demonetized if I'm not ready. Oh fuck, authorized for monetization. But either way, right? You have that. He gets kind of destroyed in that fight. Nina, obviously, or is it Nina or Nana? Whatever the fuck. Nina dies. Later on, trying to kill the princess, but then of course, um, Clayface was obviously involved with this, faking, pretending to be um the Amazonian expert, right? And then also pretending to do a bunch of other stuff. And obviously, the bride figures out she kills him, and then whole thing gets sorted out, and they introduce the kind of repurposed GI robot with the upgrades and some of the newer members that will be joining them during season 2 and whatever they get up with. But overall, like, very good introductory. A lot of the episodes um, are a really good job at introducing newer characters and their backstories, or explain to us the backstories of previously established characters, like Weasel, obviously, and I think Weasel's the only one that we've seen. Rick Flag Senior, obviously, there's not a whole lot of explanation behind. We need to know about him, but overall, like, everything, character design was just absolutely phenomenal. And then I'm curious to see how they will implement this going forward with like season 2 of Peacemaker and that being canon to the DCU. I wonder how often they're going to use Creature Commandos, because Creature Commandos has gotten really popular as of late. Especially like GI Robot. GI Robot's so funny. And same thing with Dr. Phosphorus. I absolutely love those two characters. Phosphorus is, oh my god, they got Alan, was it, I cannot pronounce his last name. It's like Tudor or some shit like that. But they got him to voice act for him. He was phenomenal. Absolutely fucking loved that. GI Robot's obviously been kind of going viral as of late because of certain someone doing something, right? I think we all know we're talking about the guy who makes really shitty fucking cars. Um, but I mean, again, I'm just very curious to see what they're going to do in season two. Um, I don't know how much this will like affect the rest of the DCU. Obviously, we probably won't figure that out until like way later, considering that this is the first official new DCU project. But I think they did a fantastic job starting it out. Them starting with animation, I think, was also absolutely fantastic idea. Like I said, DC's always had amazing animation. They've probably been the most consistent anim- animated studio for like past like 30 years, which feels really weird to say, but again, like they have good track record, and James Gunn kind of just went with his bread and butter to start off the DCU, and I think it's going to play really well. I guess it just depends on how well Superman does and a bunch of the other things, because I haven't seen anything else in terms of like what's going on with season two, obviously, because they did renew it, I believe, the 13th of January, or is when they announced that they'd renewed it for season two. So that's obviously probably we're not going to know anything about it for a really long while. But again, like this is looking really good for the DCU. So I'm really excited to see what they'll do with it. I want to see Dr. Phosphorus and GI Robot a lot more. And I do hope we get to see more than like a 7 episode season. But considering that it was like 7 episodes of 23 minutes, a little over 2 hours, which I don't remember the exact run times of the Suicide Squad and I think the Peacemaker TV show was like 60 minutes? I have no clue. I can't remember what the runtimes on those were, but either way, if you can find a way to kind of use those characters more, right, and kind of still have that like fun, raunchy, the mature humor, and still kind of make it unique in a way, because obviously them just recycling the same kind of plot can get old very very fast in terms of like, oh, go on a mission, kill someone, random stuff, and then back. So but if anyone could do it, it's James Gunn. So I'm really excited to see what is going to be next for the DCU, and that's pretty much it for spoiler section, because kind of went through basic plot, the way they introduced characters, and the way I think that this is was a great choice to start off the DCU. And what do you guys think? Where do you guys think? Um, was this a good way to start off the DCU? What's your guys' opinion on animation now being considered, or at least some of them are going to be considered canon within the DC anime or the DC cinematic universe? And what do you guys think is going to be happening in the future? So just let me know down in the comments below. If you watched this all the way, thank you very much. A few days I should have Nosferatu coming out, video on that, and then a few days after that should be season 2 of Castlevania Nocturne, and then after that some just random like Japan stuff. But again, thanks for watching. If you want to see that stuff, subscribe, join the posse, and I'll see you guys next time.